And what is the meaning of polynomial? Any algebraic expression where the highest power is non-negative or non-fractional. That means the power is always positive, then we call it as a polynomial. This is the standard form of a polynomial with one variable where the highest power is x to the power n, then x to the power n minus 1, and it will go till this is the last term is going to be the constant term. Polynomial based on number of terms and based on degree. So based on number of terms we call it as monomial. Monomial means any polynomial with only one term, and all the terms are separated by addition or subtraction sign. The power of variable can be anything, but the number of term is going to be only one. Then binomials, there will be two terms, now two unlike terms. So here if you'll see, this is variable term, this is constant term, so together there are two terms. In this next example, if you'll see, it's looking like three terms, but here the two terms are like terms. So if you simplify, it's becoming minus 3x square minus 3. That means there are at the end there are only two terms, so this is also a binomial. Trinomial, similarly, any polynomial with three terms, that means the terms are separated by addition or subtraction sign. So first term, second term, third term, we call it as trinomial. This is with one variable which is highest power is 2, 1, and this constant term power is going to be 0. So this is a trinomial. Any polynomial, any four or more terms, we call it as polynomial. But this you learn in lower grades, higher classes. You will learn you will see more useful you will see the classification based on degree. So degree means, what is the meaning of degree? The highest power of the variable among the terms, right? So it's among the terms, we call it as degree of the polynomial. Now linear polynomial, as the name states, linear, the degree is always going to be 1. Here in the example you can see y to the power 1, right? There are two terms, number of terms can be anything, but the degree is always going to be 1, right? Here also the second term is an irrational number, but if you see the power of x, there is no power, so it is 1. So highest power is 1, that's why it's a linear polynomial. Now quadratic polynomial, if you see, the highest power is going to be 2. So there can be any 1, 2 or 3 terms, but if you see, the highest power is 2, x square. So power is 2, here also 2, here also 2. Right? These are the different examples. Now cubic polynomial, similarly the degree has to be 3, so highest power among the terms has to be 3. Now in this example also, if you see, x cube plus 27, the highest power is 3, here also 3, right? Now 4 or more degree, if degree is 4, then we call it as bi quadratic or quartic polynomial. So how many zeros are there here? The number of zeros or roots or solution is going to be upmost equals to degree of the polynomial. So you need to remember. Now in grade 10, you will see that linear polynomial and quadratic polynomial, the main thing, but the cubic polynomial, graph based question, sometime multiple choice question can come. Here if you will see, the first one is a linear polynomial. If I'm taking linear polynomial, we have seen its highest power is going to be 1. This is called standard form, right? Ax plus b is called the standard form of a linear polynomial, where a can never be equals to 0, otherwise you will be left with only the constant term. So how many solution? There is one solution, and solution generally we call it as alpha, beta, gamma. There is one solution. Say if I take it as x, you know that the zero or solution of any polynomial means it makes the polynomial 0. So you can equate with 0. So what is going to be the value here? If you'll see, x is equals to minus b by a, right? And if I take alpha as the root, then alpha, your alpha or beta or gamma, any root, whichever root you take it here, or x, right? It is going to be here minus b by a, right? Because there is 1. Which kind of graph do you get it? Your graph is always going to be a straight line here, because if you will solve this x plus 5, so what is the 0 here? X equals to minus 5. And on the graph, if I take it here, you are going to get it here, x equals to minus 5. How are you going to get it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is going to be parallel to y-axis, because x is equals to minus 5. This also you have seen last year, 9th grade. How are we going to draw the graph? Similarly, if there is any solution, any polynomial, y plus 4 is equals to, or y minus 4 is equals to 0, what is going to be the solution here? If I take minus 4, then which is equals to 0. So the 0 or root is going to be y equals to 4, which is going to be parallel to x-axis, right? So these kind of graph, whenever you see, you should know it's about the linear polynomial. This is y equals to any vertical line or horizontal line, or which is parallel to x or y-axis or x-y-axis. It's always about linear polynomial. Then after that, what is the meaning of quadratic polynomial? If you'll see, quadratic polynomial, Standard form is, because the highest power has to be 2ax square plus bx plus c, where a can never be equals to 0, otherwise it will become a linear polynomial, and a, b, c are the constant terms, so it's a part of real number. Now because the degree is highest power is 2, there can be upmost 2 zeros. Your maximum possible number of zeros is going to be 2, right? Now if I take those 2 zeros as alpha and beta, then what is the factorized form? Generally whenever it's splitting the middle term or using the identity, you can do the factorization. So if alpha and beta are the 2 zeros, this we take it as a factorized form. K means if there is any common constant term, you can take it common, and alpha and beta are going to be the two roots, right? Now there is, in the 10th grade you have learned relationship between roots, the alpha and beta roots, and the coefficients of the quadratic polynomial. So here coefficient or the constant term, a, b, c are the constant terms, right? So if I take this, what is that? Alpha plus beta is always minus b by a, product of roots which is alpha, beta is c by a. So this is called here sum of roots, this is called product of roots, right, which is c by a. Now how do we write down if your alpha beta roots are given? How do we frame? Because sometimes the question will be there, form the quadratic polynomial if alpha beta is given with some value. So example, if alpha is minus 4 and beta is 5, they will say here form the quadratic polynomial. How do we do it? You have to remember this rule. So here x square, right, if x is the variable, this is called sum of the roots, this is called product of the roots. So how can we frame the polynomial here? If you'll take it here k, you can take it as 1. If there's any denominator you will get it. So x square, if I take it here, it is x square, then it is always taken minus alpha is minus 4, beta is 5 times x, then plus here minus 4 times 5. So what is the way to form the quadratic polynomial? It will become x square, then minus 4 plus 1, it is going to be minus x minus 20. So you form the quadratic polynomial using those roots, alpha and beta roots. Other than that, you should know how the graph will look like here. You always get parabola. What is the meaning of parabola? The quadratic polynomial graph is called parabola. It is called downward parabola. This is called upward parabola. How do we decide if a is greater than 0, which is the coefficient of x square, ax square? If I am having this as standard form of quadratic polynomial, here the coefficient of x square is a. If it is greater than 0, it is always upward parabola. If a is less than 0, it's always downward parabola. So how the graph will be formed here? You can get here three kinds of graph here: b square minus 4ac. This is the nature of roots you have learned for quadratic equation, that you can apply here also, right? So I'll tell you here the second graph. It can be here for b square minus 4ac is equals to 0, and third graph for no solution, because we have written there can be upmost two solutions, so there is a possibility that there can be no solution also. So how the here, based on this, you can get here greater than 0, you can get upward or downward parabola. I'm just making on the same, but here generally one graph you will get one value. What is the meaning of this? See, here it's upward, that means a, here it's greater than 0. Right? Similarly, equals to 0, that means it's going, there is one solution. So wherever the graph cut x-axis, so there is only two equal solutions. So alpha is equals to beta. Here alpha and beta are at two distinct places. So here a is less than 0 because it's a downward parabola. Now less than 0 means no solution. Your parabola is not going to touch axis, x-axis anywhere. Because whenever any graph touches x-axis means those are called zeros, or those places wherever they are intersecting is called zeros of roots of the polynomial. If you will see cubic polynomial standard form is ax square. You will generally get only graph, but I have given all the details. So ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d, where a can never be equals to 0, otherwise it will become a quadratic polynomial. How many upmost roots can be there? There can be only 3 upmost roots: alpha, beta, gamma. If there are 3 roots, then this is the factorized form of cubic polynomial, where the sum of roots, this is called sum here, minus b by a, then alpha beta plus beta gamma plus alpha gamma is c by a, and the product of roots is minus d by a. right? Now what is the graph here? Because there can be upmost three roots. If you will see the graph, your graph can cut here. Wherever the graph cuts, right, those are called solution. So here if you see x-axis, wherever your graph cuts x-axis, that's called solution here. These are the solution alpha, beta, gamma. So there can be upmost three solutions, right? They can be, you can get this kind of graph also for this. This means there is only one solution.
Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe. Also, keep practicing.